Thank you, Mr. President. Αγαπητοί συνάδελφοι,
Colleagues, if Picasso lived today, there's no... Of course, he would paint a Guernica from Moria in Greece, from Lampedusa in Italy, from the borders with Turkey, or from Lebanon. That would be his source of inspiration. Refugees, this issue can't be dealt with without being realistic. And we have to admit, as we all admit when we speak about policy, about health, or about the major problems that exist, that the best way to deal with these types of issues is prevention. Where's the prevention here? Who is creating these refugees? In these member states of the Council of Europe, there are countries which are in the Eurozone and outside of the Eurozone. The UK was a European country, now it's going to become a global Britain. There are countries in NATO. And look at the paradox here. We come here to discuss about measures and a single policy, and we have member states of NATO here who are participating in the bombardment of a Western and forcing Western, in inverted style, democracies. Also, we have ships of NATO which are on our high seas trying to block the entry of refugees to Europe, and we come here to discuss in Europe if we're going to build walls and fences as the Visegrad countries have done. And it doesn't stop there. Radical young Europeans, 30,000, 40,000, are going and fighting for ISIS. And we speak about radicalization, fundamentalism, and we're mixing all this up with refugees. We're confusing things. So what we have to do is really look at the situations. Some countries which, when it's in their interest to make money, to reap profits, or to bring up oil from resources or reserves, they really don't take into consideration what the consequences are. So we have created refugees, ladies and gentlemen. The night of St. Bartholomew, the night of the horrific, the eve of the First World War, the Second World War, and the refugees that developed thereafter, racism, and the rise of those yellow stars, even now in Europe today. Look at what the situations. We're speaking about the creation of a Guantanamo-style facility outside of Europe, just as we send our garbage to Ghana, just as we want our nuclear refuse to be sent to third countries who sell off their land because they need to eat something. The only way for us not to have refugees, ladies and gentlemen, is for us to remember what a human being is. And whether you like it or not, when you have wars which are there in order to promote monopoly interests, these are not patriotic wars. This is something totally irrational, totally unethical. There is only one war, and that is a war which is a defensive nature, which is of a patriotic nature, and not a war which generates refugees. Thank you very much.